Yeah, that's really tough. And you wouldn't get away with that today with the climate in America.
Yeah, I think things are moving forward slowly. There's going to be racists or there's going to be people that have a lack of understanding in every culture and every community around the world. But I think the more that we can educate people, the more that we can start seeing multicultural diversity and see it as inclusiveness and inclusion, that's how you're going to be able to build a very healthy community.
Okay, I see what you mean. So, what did you do to rebuild your life after losing your partner?
Gosh, I feel like I'm still rebuilding my life. um, when that happened, um, I lost a big part of who I was. As I had mentioned, I had been with Gus for 6 years. So from 18 to 23, my life and my identity was very much this couple dating my partner, and it was very much a Gus and Mel unity and identity. And then so when half of me left, half of Mel Yu also died that night. And so what I had to do to rebuild that sense of being and that sense of belonging and a sense of purpose was I had to start figuring out who I was as Mel alone without a partner. And that required a lot of deep work. It required a lot of nights of processing, of reflecting, of thinking, and also going out and trying new things and trying new hobbies without that person is incredibly hard. I say it now almost with ease, but it's also been 8 years since Gus has passed, and so I've done the deep work. I've definitely dived in. I journaled, and I slowly, bit by bit, piece by piece, I had to rebuild who I was. And now I'm very proud of the woman that's sitting in front of you today and putting out that amazing work and very driven. I found who I was again for me. I found who I was again without the parts of me that I've lost.
That's great to hear. Have you considered starting a charity for mental health like Matt Runnels or Sam Webb?
Yeah, so I mean, I get a lot of questions always asking me about whether I'm going to start my own charity. I have my own views on that. I believe that there's so many people out there already doing amazing, incredible work, just like my peers and my friends there that you've just mentioned. Matt Reynolds has an amazing charity called Mindful Oz. Sam Webb has an amazing charity called Live In up in Queensland. And so there's already so many people doing amazing work that I feel like my contribution in the mental health space is able to advocate on behalf of those charities and push them towards that. Running a not for profit and running a charity is incredibly challenging and incredibly hard. I think if you ask anyone that's trying to do a not for profit, they will tell you the struggles and the challenges to be able to make that charity successful. So for me, my passion is advocation, like advocacy. It's public speaking, it's jumping on podcasts. And I think I can deliver that and share my message and use my voice in a way that doesn't require me to have a charity per se. Maybe in the long run, if I feel called towards it, but for now, I'd rather support my peers that are advocating in the same message and the same space as me.
Pretty cool. So, what are your hopes so far for the world as far as what changes you need to make or
My
we
hopes for the
make?
world is pretty simple, to leave it in a better place than when we found it. And what that kind of might mean could be very subjective to everyone. But for me, is if I can impact people's day just in passing and leave a positive influence in everyone that I meet, in everyone that I connect with, then that is me leaving a better place and my mark on the world. And that could be something as simple as a smile down the street. It's something like gratitude. It's something like acknowledging people. I think we don't ever acknowledge people nearly enough. Um, yeah, I think something as simple as that, that's my legacy and that's my impact. That I always kind of just gave that little bit more than I took in the world. I left something rather than take more. And whether that divides 51%, 49%, I just want to give that little 1% more.
That's really cool. What resources do you know about for mental health and improving it?
Yeah, so there's professional resources and I think personal resources. By that, I mean your personal resources to be able to maintain mental wellness and to improve your mental health One is self-awareness. You have to be able to understand your own emotions. You have to be able to know when you're plateauing or burning out or struggling, and being able to assess that and audit that's going on within you. And to be able to maintain mental health, I believe like exercising is a huge one, at least for me. But it's also proven if you can just go out for a walk for half an hour, just to remove yourself from everything that's going on in your head and gain some clarity out in nature, that can really, really help your mental health. So having a routine of just something as simple as walking. Why I use walking, you can use any other exercise that you want, but walking is free and it doesn't require any further equipment. So some people might find the gym as their mental health outlet. Some people might use sport or basketball, but I say walking purely because if you've got your pair of legs, then you're good to go. Chuck on a pair of runners or sneakers, and you can go out and get that movement happening and get that blood flow happening. So that my number one resource is definitely exercise. My second resource is the complete opposite, but I would say sleep. You never know what a good night's sleep can really do for your mental wellness. Often I work in very highly stressful situations. Sometimes my stress and my anxiety goes into a state of overwhelming. And for me, really being able to understand that if I just go to sleep now and take the rest of the night off and wake up tomorrow and start off fresh, I will be in a much better place to execute what I need to execute. So sometimes it's about not being so hard on yourself, not being so critical on yourself, and realize that the work is going to be there tomorrow. If you're also feeling suicidal, for example, I invite people that are having suicidal thoughts to just sleep on it. Sleep on it for one night and then see how you feel when you wake up after a good night's sleep. Um, often often we just need a little bit of distance and a little bit of time and a little bit of recharging of the batteries to then not feel so suicidal anymore, for example. So my second tip and resource would be sleep. And then if I go into the professional resources side, what are the tips and what are some things that could be really helpful? Having a really, really good GP. And I don't mean something where it's like just go to a clinic and then get some medication. Building a really strong foundation with a GP that gets you and understands you is critical. We are not lone wolves in this world. I think we all need each other. We're social beings. Human beings need connection. And so finding some really strong professional resources other than friends and family can really help with your mental health. I have a full team of health practitioners that support me in my mental wellness journey. So I have a GP, I have a psychologist, and then I have various other coaches and mentors that can then bring me guidance and bring me things that I might not ever see, bring me other perspectives. So having the courage to reach out to professional help, having the courage to understand that you don't have to do this alone. There are people out there that want to help you. Lean into that, but you have to be able to put your hand up. You have to be able to put your hand up and say, hey, I'm not okay right now. And you know what? There's so many people out there that will probably like just give you a lending hand. So they're some of the resources that I would lean into.
Pretty cool. Sounds good. So that's all we have for now, but we thank you for coming on.
No worries. Thanks, Doug. It's always a pleasure to see you, catch up with you and Andy as well. And now that things have opened up, I look forward to either meeting in Australia or in the States. So thank you so much for having me.
No problem. So where can people find you?
So my most active platform I would say right now is still Instagram, even though I feel old without having a TikTok or active TikTok. But Instagram, you can find me at MallyU, and that is M for Mike, E for Echo, L for Llama, L for Llama, I for Igloo, E for Echo, Y for Yankee, U for
You and me.
You. There you go. I was doing so well with my phonetic alphabets just then. But yeah, and Melly you, that's where you can find me on Instagram. Send me a DM, comment on anything, follow me, I will follow you back. And let's keep this engagement in this community happening, because I'm a strong believer that we don't have to do anything alone.
Great to hear. So everybody, we'd like to thank Mel for appearing on the show, and we'll see you next week for the next episode of Relentless and Unstoppable.